Well, friends, we've had some great rains all across America, and especially the cropland area of America this year. And that may be easing a little bit of a problem that a lot of people are concerned about, and that is running out of water, especially in the irrigation fields. Stand by. I want to talk about some facts about that, plus a few other items in a minute.
My grandfather came across the plains from Missouri in the 1860s and ran a hotel and stage stop here with livery stable, and it's been in the family ever since. We run probably about 100 cows here and 250 over at the other ranch. I'm sure there are other banks we could have dealt with, but they've been so friendly and know what the ups and downs are in the business. American Ag Credit is like a family for us for financial help.
Well, friends, as you can see here, this is dry land. Beautiful alfalfa. We showed you last week beautiful soybeans. Corn as high as I am, and then some, all across this country. Dry land. That is kind of unheard of in this part of the country, south central Kansas. And as you go to western Kansas, we've got some of the same stuff. I just talked to a guy from Garden City, had a couple of inches of rain the last couple of 3 weeks. I got to tell you, all across America, we're raising a lot of crops. And that brings up a question. Also, water is a crop. Well, in fact, if you don't have water, you don't have a crop. And so with a lot of irrigation going on all across the Dakotas, down through Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado, down into Texas, everybody's worried about the aquifer. And there's been some research lately that has got some people concerned. In fact, records examined by the Lubbock Avalanche Journal show the aquifer, that's the Ogallala, dropping about 325 billion gallons every year for the last 4 decades, and that's about a foot every year. And so some people are saying we're going to run out of water in the aquifer in the next 50 years. Well, there's a guy at Texas University who says whoever thinks that's a fact is dreaming. He thinks it's going to be a lot less years than that. Well, you know, if we get a bunch of rain year after year after year, I don't think we have to worry about it. Those drought years scare everybody that we had the last 2 or 3 years. So if we can keep this water coming from the sky this year and maybe even next year or two, we might alleviate some of the concern about the aquifer because we can replenish it some. However, don't forget, folks, those of you who are irrigating, it's one of the things I haven't had an opportunity to do. South central Kansas, most of the time we can raise pretty decent crops without it. But if you are an irrigator, I think the times are going to get tougher rather than easier for you to obtain the water. In the meantime, speaking of obtaining water, how about cash? Everybody's predicting, including USDA, that cash income to farmers this year will be down at least 25-26% from last year. We've had some mighty good years in agriculture the past 2 or 3 years. This one's going to be a little tougher, although I wonder if they're considering everything. For example, they quote the fact that we're down about 26-27% on our wheat crop in Kansas, which we are, no doubt about that. But are they taking in consideration those of us who have had crop insurance that'll pick that money back up? And quite honestly, I did as good this year as I did last year with crop insurance and only raising 22 to 25 bushel wheat. That all needs to be taken in consideration. I don't think it's quite as bad as those people who want us to believe it is. Guarantee you, it's not going to be as great on the farm as it has been the last 2 or 3 years with these prices that we're seeing. But if you're a diversified farm, you've got some cattle, for example, boy, they're at an all-time high, and they're going to stay there for a while, in our opinion. It's going to be a pretty decent kind of a year. Maybe not the kind of year that people will really jump to buy $300,000 combines, but I can promise you there will be pretty good living on the farm for at least another year or two. Let's hope so anyway. See you next time around.